Hello everyone, Tom with Capo Fetish. Let's talk about our favorite screams of all time. When I've been on my walks lately or hiking, I have my iPod on. It has about 10,000 songs. For some reason, it's weird with iPods. Certain songs always keep coming up. You know, there's all these songs, but certain songs seem to always slip into the mix. This one lately has been really slipping into the mix, and that's why I came up with this idea today, because I absolutely have always loved this track. It's one of my favorite Beatles tracks. And I love I Want You to So Heavy when John Lennon does that yeah right at the very end before the coda starts. I think that's just one of my absolute favorite screams. I wait for it to come before that arpeggio outro starts. It's fantastic. I just love that yeah he does. It almost is like you can almost hear the speakers like blaring, like kind of buzzing. And while we're speaking of Lennon, let's not forget Mother off Plastic Ono Band. That is some amazing screaming. Also, Well, Well, Well off the same album. He's just absolutely just doing the primal scream therapy to its core. Good stuff. Another one, too, I really love is a few, actually, here by Iggy Pop. Off the Funhouse album from 1970. The way TV starts with that. He comes right in with a nice yell. And then Ron Asheton comes in, and then the rest of the band. But then at the very end of the album, you have LA Blues, where he's basically like screaming like a cheetah the whole time. Just so bizarre and so awesome. So those are some other favorites. Another favorite, too, by the Stooges. One of my favorite Iggy screams is at the end of No Fun, as the outro just continues and goes, and he's kind of rambling and kind of scatting. He does this kind of like, just literally it sounds like a panther, like the scream. It's fantastic. So that's another one at the very tail end of No Fun from the first Stooges album. Now, another great one, this is an obvious choice, but I like the live version better. I love Roger Daltrey's scream on Won't Get Fooled Again, but I love the version here on Kids Are All Right, the live version. This was literally the last live concert appearance by the original band, Moon, Daltrey, Entwistle, Townsend, and at the very end of the movie and the end of the record, they do Won't Get Fooled Again. A really kind of a very loose version of it, but when Daltrey comes in and does that scream on the live version, it sounds like he's singing from the mountaintop. He's like screaming. It's just there's almost like this echo. It's really a huge and big sounding. It's fantastic. Great movie, by the way. Love that version though. Won't Get Fooled Again. Right after the synthesizer keyboard, and he comes in. Fantastic. Another great one too is this guy could really scream with the best of them. Is Kurt Cobain on the MTV Live in New York Unplugged at the very end. This is a great, just a fantastic, flawless performance here all the way through. They invite the Meat Puppets on stage for 3 songs, which I think are some of the highlights of this. But at the end, he does a Leadbelly cover of Where Did You Sleep Last Night? And it's this whole performance is pretty subdued for Nirvana. They're doing an unplugged thing, so Cobain is not screaming really. He's not screaming at all during the performance. But the point in the song at the very end of Where Did You Sleep Last Night, when he says the lyric shiver, it just really sends a chill up your spine. If you've seen the live video, the live version on TV, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then we can't leave out another great Cobain scream off Nevermind, the song Territorial Pissings. He's literally just ripping his throat out at the end. I've never really quite heard a scream like that at the end of Territorial Pissings. Incredible. Let's talk about probably the king of great screams. How about Mr. Soul Brother himself, James Brown? Here's the Star Time box set. There's so many great screams, but I think my top 3 screams of James Brown, number 1 is definitely Mother Popcorn. He does this incredible scream for a duration of maybe 10 seconds, and then he adds that squeal at the end, that classic James Brown scream and then squeal at the end. There's always that kind of squeal climax. Love that scream on Mother Popcorn. It's just the thing about James Brown. It's like this is like the most groove-oriented, funky music, but it also has a lot of humor too. There's so much humor to James Brown. I mean, the music is just life affirming. My second favorite though is the extended version of Cold Sweat. He just goes off. Really goes off at the end on the outro, just screaming the daylights out of himself. And then another one too is Superbad, where he really puts forth the squeal, really in real time, just belting it out. So those are some absolute favorite screams of mine there from Mr. James Brown. Another favorite of mine is one of my favorite performances, at least caught on camera, documentary style, is Janis Joplin and the Big Brother and the Holding Company. Their performance at Monterey Pop Festival. Her version of Ball and Chain, incredible. That scream at the end where she's going like, ba, 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 babe, 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 babe. So good. So great. And that whole song, the whole version, just so intense. Like you can see Mama Cass in the audience just in awe, and other people too. They're just like stopped in their tracks. They can't believe what they're seeing. So yeah, that not only being one of my favorite performances, one of my favorite screams of all time from Janis, and she could really scream with the best of them. So Ball and Chain from June 1967 at the Monterey Pop Festival. Janis Joplin, belting it out. Another one too I've always loved is Draw the Line by Aerosmith. Steven Tyler, where there's that middle section where it breaks down and the guitars start up, do-do-do-do-do-do, and it just keeps going and going. And then he goes into that kind of, he's saying something, but he's screaming while he's saying it. I've never known what he is saying in that, but it's just so perfect with the rhythm and the guitar and everything. Absolutely a favorite of all time here, scream-wise, and I love that track, Draw the Line, one of my favorite Aerosmith tunes. This is, of course, Draw the Line from 1977. Now, when it comes to Robert Plant has a lot of screams, but I think the duration of this particular scream is outrageously long and incredible. I don't think there's a whole lot of studio trickery in this. Maybe a little reverb, a little echo, but he's literally screaming. I think it's at least about 10 to 12 seconds. And I'm talking about How Many More Times, the last track on the album. Well, everything breaks down. You know what I'm talking about, right? And then he lets out that just one huge wail that goes on for, it seems like forever. Sounds like he's singing from the mountaintop. Yeah, I think that's one of Robert Plant's best moments as a just powerful vocalist, and as far as like the screaming aspect on How Many More Times. So good. Another one too is Mr. Mojo Rising. Of course, Jim Morrison off Strange Days. There's nothing more intense when it comes to the Doors with that track, when the music's over. There's all this improvisation going on, and it gets real low. And then, of course, we want the world, and we want it. And then he goes, and then he just, there's that split second, and it's now, and he's just screaming. Oh, it's fantastic. One of my favorite moments in the Doors catalog. Jim Morrison screaming at the end of When the Music's Over. So good. Another one, too, that always blows me away when I hear it is from the Pixies off the Doolittle album from 1989, Black Francis. On the song, the second track on the album called Tame. He is absolutely it's guttural, just absolute guttural. Almost, I wouldn't say borderline death metal, but it's getting close to death metal on that track. And another favorite. So there are no death metal hot tracks on this particular video, I'm sorry to say, but these are 10 of my favorites. Let me know what your favorite screams of all time are in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. If you dig the content, press subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.